While we were on that flight, flying over the Caspian Sea, was when the US was bombing Iran. Yeah, g'day. Welcome to the Tinderry Hills. Back in Australia, back in the swag. I'm going to get it out in a minute and set it up, and I'll show you all that. But yeah, out in the Tinderry Hills. Haven't been out in this part of the world for a long while. Narragansett country. Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, as always, I'll pay my respects to the wonderful Narragansett people who looked after this country, these magnificent hills, and right down to the Snowies for such a long time, and thousands of generations. Yeah, brilliant. But yeah, I'm on top of a hill in the Tinderries, and I'm going to set up my swag right here. Looking forward to getting back out in the swag. Going to be nice and cold, probably drop down to about 0 tonight, maybe a bit colder up here in the hills. But it's beautiful now, sun's out. It was a pretty miserable sort of day, pretty dull and grey sort of day. But as I drove out, the sun came up. Magnificent drive out here as you sort of turned off the highway and went up into the hills. It was a brilliant drive out. And yeah, this is a Hipcamp. So being hosted by a wonderful lady by the name of Anna. And I just had a chat with her and her family. There was a bit of wind up here during the week. And they had to do some running repairs on some trails, and some trees came down. So they were out doing all of the normal things farmers do, or people who own properties do. Yeah, she was awesome, and yeah, showed me up here. I've got the whole place to myself apparently, so I've sort of jumped into this little spot. I think I'm not in the right spot, but anyway, I'm the only one around, she said, so I'm just going to grab it because it's nice and level. Big fire pit there, which I'll make use of because I'm going to cook up some dinner. But first things first, I'm going to get the swag up. What's the time? It's 4 o'clock, so I've got probably about an hour of light, so I've got to get cracking. So I'm going to get the swag up, and then I'm going to go and get some firewood. I think I did bring some, so I don't have to get too much, but I want to see if I can scurridge some around just so I can get some leaves and things. Yeah, let's get the swag up. Not sure what I'm going to do with the tarp. There's no tarp tying facilities. I might just run a lean-to or something over the top of it because it's probably going to be a bit damp overnight, I reckon. No rain, but certainly condensation. Okay, let's get this swag up. That's west over there, so the sun's going to come up over this way. That's the flat bit looking out over this magnificent valley through some trees, and I'll show you all that. But yeah, so I'm not going to be having the sun come straight in my door, but I won't be able to see the sunset either because it's going to go down behind those hills. But anyway, I'll enjoy it in the morning. Yeah, that took about 3 minutes. How good swag camping, eh? Bed's ready. Okay, I think we need to go and get some firewood before we start settling in because it's a bit wet, so I need to go for a bit of a hunt. There's a bit here, but it's all very wet. I did bring some that's nice and dry, so I should be right and then be able to get it going and then use this stuff once it dries out. Right, that's ready to go. Okay, let's get the rest of the swag set up. I'm not going to put up a tarp. I'm just going to, as my kids say, raw dog it. I don't even know what that really means. But I'm just going to deal with the wet swag. I don't really have anywhere to tie it out, and I don't want to get my poles out and stuff, and then it's going to be cold in the morning, and I know my fingers are going to be so cold. So I figure I might just roll up the swag wet and then dry it out when I get home. So that's the plan. I know I will regret that in the morning, but it certainly feels good to do it right now when I've only got half an hour of light. Don't know how cold it's going to get. Day pack. No dry leaves anywhere, so paper it is. Try and get all this dry stuff to ignite first. Yeah, well, I've got to wait until I get some coals because I've got a steak to cook up, some broccoli and some cauliflower. Should be good. Starting to get cold. Sun's just dropping down behind the hills there, so it's going to get dark in a minute. So I'm going to have to get the light out, but hopefully won't be too bad. I don't know what sort of moon there is tonight. I haven't really been paying much attention. I think there's a little bit of moon. May not rise until a bit later though, so it might get dark real quick. Anyway, that's what we've got lights for. Yeah, so back out in the swag. Yeah, as much as I love going away, I love spending a week exploring the world with my wife, I do like the opportunity to get a bit of solitude and just get out into the bush and hear the kookaburras instead of the little robins and the chittering little tits that you get over in the UK. Get over here and listen to kookaburras and cockatoos squawking away. But yeah, no, just the opportunity to get out and push pause and chill out for a bit. Don't deal with anyone. Like I've been with people constantly for 5 weeks. Haven't really had a break. So as a high functioning introvert, that's hard work for me. So this is a good little respite. So I'll enjoy this next 12 hours of chilling out and doing nothing. Should be good. Sounds good. Yeah, I parboiled some broccoli and cauliflower so I can just heat it up on the griddle. Ooh, nice quick dinner. Think I was broken. Needed some time to clear my head. Smells good. Quite a nice sunset over there. I've made all the mistakes and I've dealt with the heartbreak, but I think that I found my way. I've been sinking like a stone, Carolina, take me home. Nothing's ever really broken, I won't let you go. 'Cause I'm finding my way right back to you. Only perfect. I'll find my way back to you. Yeah, well, that's dinner done. Tied it up, and sun is pretty much down now, so it's getting cold too. I've got my little thermometer here, so I'll be able to tell you how cold it gets. I doubt it'll drop below 0, although it's clear, so it might get cold. Hopefully it stays clear and it doesn't fog over. I don't want to get too much condensation on my swag. But yeah, we'll let you know in the morning how cold it gets. But yeah, beautiful night, nice and still. A few stars popping out, and there's no sign of a moon yet. So I think I'm going to have a bit of a show of stars. But yeah, back from the UK. Yeah, what a month. That's probably my favourite month ever. You know, just me and my wife and whatever it is, 75 million English people. But yeah, loved it. Loved every second of it. You know, I don't know if you've ever seen that movie, Fast Times at Ridgemont High, which was, you know, a staple when I was a kid. Such a great movie. Yeah. But there's a dude in it called Damone, and he's explaining to the other guy how to be cool. And one of the tips he gives him is he says, wherever you are, that's the place to be, which is kind of how I live my life. And I don't know whether it's thanks to Damone, but I certainly live by that mantra. So yeah, we went to some awesome places, but I'm sure there was a bunch that we missed as well. But yeah, loved it. Loved London. You know, people, when we told everyone we were going over to the UK for a month, most people, pretty much everyone, said, you know, London, you know, just go and tick off all the boxes and get out of town and see the rest of England, because that's and Wales and Scotland, because that's where the real fun's to be had. But yeah, credit to London. I loved it. I thought it was a fantastic place. So did my wife. Yeah, we just had a ball in London. It was just so busy, so many people. Weather was perfect. Did so much cool stuff. Went to the opera, went to Phantom of the Opera. went to art galleries and museums and just walked through amazing parks, saw changing of the guard, did all of the touristy things and loved every second of it. You know, it's just a bustling, wonderful city, and yeah, just loved every minute of being in London. It's expensive. You know, people did warn me it was going to be expensive, but it wasn't that much more expensive than the rest of the UK, to be honest with you. You know, just as a bit of context there, like we had pub meals a fair bit, you know, restaurants and places like that. And yeah, you go into a pub and buy fish and chips, which is a pretty staple sort of meal. You know, we'd probably pay $25 for a good feed of fish and chips. Over there, it's 25 quid, which is twice, so $50, $56, $57 essentially, which is quite a bit of coin. But it was amazing. Like, you know, fish and chips over there is a whole new world, as is their sausages and all that sort of stuff. So we really ate up like kings. Loved every minute of that as well. And but yeah, the prices were a bit exy. But you know, you spend a lot of money in Sydney if you go out to a restaurant or a nice pub. That costs you a fair bit as well. You know, and you chuck in a few drinks, and you seem walking away a lot lighter in the pocket than when you walked in. But anyway, so apart from that, loved it. Loved London. And yeah, and then we went over to Cornwall. Brilliant. I won't sort of retrace it. I did do some videos while I was over there, just to sort of give people. I did a poll and asked if people wanted to see what I was doing while I was over there, and there's a few people said yes. So I recorded a few videos, and I'll chuck them links to those in the description below. So I won't sort of retrace it. But we went to Cornwall and did all of that, and then we went up to the Cotswolds, which is just fairy tale gorgeous. You know, it's insane how cute that part of the world is. But yeah, so we spent a few days there, and then up to Wales and the Lakes District, which was really just outdoor adventure. You know, it's just a hiker's paradise, all those places, and Snowdonia and all that Lakes District there was just people everywhere with backpacks, and I just loved it. Rain, hail or shine, the Poms, they get out, they love it. They just soldier on. There's something about it, and it's a bit contagious. So I could spend the rest of my life quite happily in that part of the world. And then we went up to Scotland as well, and did a few days there. Edinburgh's awesome. You know, it's such a just a lovely, wonderful town to just walk around and just immerse yourself into that old part of Scotland with 1,000 other tourists doing the same thing. But it's nice. It's good to just be part of all of that. I loved it. But probably the pick of the bunch in Scotland for me was going off and seeing puffins on a speedboat. That was a pretty special couple of hours, that. And yeah, puffins are an absolute cracker. Loved them. So yeah, anyway, I won't harp on about that anymore. Like I said, there's some videos in the description. I'll leave it at that for the moment. But yeah, had a ball. Loved every second of it. But tonight I'm out in the swag. Like I said, this is a hip camp. And I think this is probably the best hip camp I've ever been to. I am truly out in the bush here. There is a proper campsite here with a fire pit and everything like that, but it is out in the middle of nowhere. And yeah, it's a really good little spot. She's got 5, I think, or 6 secluded little camp spots. Because I'm like got a 4-wheel drive, got my swag, and pretty much go anywhere. She just gave me free rein of the place, but she also told me there was no one else here, so I've jumped on one of these campgrounds. So these campgrounds are available as well, but I'm supposed to be just off in the bush there somewhere. But this just looked nice and easy, and the sun was starting to beat me because I got out here and there was only an hour or so of light. So yeah, so I jumped on here, but there's a bunch of them, and she's also got some glamping ones as well. So she goes from total bush bashing out in the middle of nowhere to nice yurts and glamping. So it's a great little hip camp, this, and I'll put a link down below. And the lady who runs it's name's Anna, and she was awesome. So yeah, great little spot. I'll probably be coming back here. This is it's only an hour as well, an hour from Canberra, or an hour once you get out of Canberra, probably about an hour and a half from home. So yeah, nice and handy, and like I said, it's just beautiful Aussie bush, kangaroos and wallabies everywhere. Kookaburras were going off before, and really welcomed me back home to the swag. Really going to enjoy this next couple of hours of some solitude and turn it all off and just chill out and be here with just me and my thoughts and a cup of tea. Oh, done. Yeah, so that's my cup of tea done. It's it's 5:45, so nice and early. But yeah, sun goes down. We're just after the longest day of the year. In fact, the longest day of the year, 22nd of June, was the day I didn't have on my way home. So yeah, oh yeah, that was another thing. When we were flying home, like, it's a bloody long trip. I don't know, for all those people who live in places other than Australia, getting anywhere in a plane takes forever. And particularly getting up to the UK, it's a 24-hour epic. So you've got to sort of build yourself up to it. And that's fine. You're going over there, you're full of adrenaline and excitement and stuff like that. But the trip home is a bit of a drag because you're on the, you're exhausted because you've been doing your thing for however long, and then you've got to sit on a plane for 24 hours. But I don't know what my watch is doing. Stop. But yeah, so you're on the plane for a long, long while. And what's weird about the trip we had was, like, we took off from Heathrow and we're flying Qantas, so we were going via Singapore, and the route takes you over the Caspian Sea. While we were on that flight, flying over the Caspian Sea, was when the US was bombing Iran. So yeah, we didn't know anything about that. They didn't make any announcements or anything, but yeah, so that, like, the Caspian Sea borders Iran, so it wasn't too far from where we were. Not that we were in any danger, but what happened was when we landed in Singapore, there was another A380 had landed just at the same time, another Qantas A380, and then there was a big announcement saying, they had to do some unforeseen engineering work on the jets, so there's going to be a delay, and they told us it was going to be 2 hours. And then they told us another 2 hours, and then it'd be another 2 hours. So, yeah, we got in at 5 o'clock in the afternoon Singapore time, and I think we were supposed to leave at 6:37 or something like that. We ended up leaving about just before 3 o'clock in the morning. So it was a hell of a night. But yeah, what we figured, and one of the people we spoke to at the desk there said they were updating some navigation gear. So I presume once the bombs started dropping, there was a whole bunch of no-fly zones kicked into gear real quick. So we got delayed as a result of that. So not only were we delayed for that long in Singapore, we missed our connector back to Canberra, obviously. So we got into Sydney, and then we just had to skulk around and get a new flight back to Canberra. So we were in Sydney Airport for another 4 hours more than we wanted to be as well. So yeah, long trip. And when you sort of think about, our trip home really started in Scotland. So we spent a day driving down to London, and then got on the plane and chuffed home. So yeah, it was a hell of a trip home. But yeah, it's out of my system already. I'm already keen to get back. So I was having a chat with my wife, and she said, oh yeah, the bug's already kicking back in. So she wants to get back over there. I think she wants to go to Germany and a few other Central European places next time maybe. So I don't know what that'll do, but the funds are a bit light on. These things don't come cheap, and we're not the richest people on the planet, so we've got to spend a couple of years saving up, I think. So that's the next job, so we can get back over there before we get too old, right? This is our sweet spot, we reckon. So kids are off our hands, they look after themselves, and we're still pretty young and agile, so we've got a few years to enjoy all of this time, so all of these places before we get too old, and that 24-hour trip is just too much of a burden. So we'll get stuck into that, and yeah, pretty good. So yeah, great trip. I won't mention it again. So tonight, what am I going to do? I'm going to, like I said, it's just 10 to 6 now, so I'm going to sort of start settling in. It's getting cold. My toes are cold. So I'm going to get into the swag and maybe zip it down a little bit so I can trap some of the heat in and start settling in for the night. I've got my iPad there so I can read my book. I'm halfway through the third Harry Potter book now. Like I said, I'm a slow reader. So yeah, Prisoner of Azkaban. I'm halfway through that, so I'll read a bit of that. Also loaded up a few movies and some shows and stuff on my iPad, so I'm sure I'll probably watch a few movies or something, considering it's so early. And then I'll get to bed. So I will sign off here, and I'll see you in the morning. That banana is so cold. Well, good morning. Bit windy. Funny old night. Slept like a log. Like I watched Guardians of the Galaxy version 2 and then went to bed, went to sleep maybe about 9 o'clock. And what had happened is, like, when I got here, the temperature just dropped right down to just a fraction above zero. I thought, oh, here we go, it's going to be a nice cold night. So I really rugged up. I had got my underlayers on, had my long johns underneath my tracksuit pants, really warm, rugged up, had my big fluffy socks on, gloves and everything, and started watching the movie, and it got really cold. It was, I was nice and icy. And then I went to sleep, and then about 11 o'clock I woke up and I was warm. And I thought, what's going on? And the temperature had just plateaued, and I'd got nice and snug. So I discarded a couple of layers and went back to sleep, and then woke up and it was 6 o'clock, which is probably the best sleep I've had in a long, long while. Yeah, I had 8 hours of sleep. Not a common occurrence for me. Yeah, beautiful morning. A bit windy, but it's nice and clear again. Yeah, lovely. Haven't got a lot of time here today. We've got a couple of appointments back home. My wife's got to do a few things, and I've got to go and sort of help out and do a few things. So I'm just going to skulk around for a little bit and have a coffee and wake up. I was going to go for a walk, but I might still go for a bit of a walk. Got about an hour. So I might just go for a bit of a wander, because I might come back here. I think this is a pretty good little spot to have as a backup. Nice and handy to home, as I said, and we are really out in the bush, and this is the sort of bush I really love, that sort of sparse, sort of highland, low scrub with eucalypts everywhere. Kangaroos. There was a kangaroo bounding through in the middle of the night, which was pretty cool. So I might go for a bit of a walk. But first of all, I'm going to have my coffee and wake up. Bit of frost in my bag. Bit of frost on the ground too. Not too bad though. Like I said, wasn't too cold. It dropped down to about 0.1, 0.2 degrees. So not quite below zero. Right, what am I going to need? Nothing. Let's go and have a look. Yeah, this looks like a nice little spot. You can just follow there's power lines here, so they've cleared the trees. So I could drive the ute right down to here and set up here. There's a nice flat bit there, there's a nice flat bit over there, surrounded by all these nice young gum trees, which is quite good, but they're all in good nick. So this would be a good little spot. There is another established one she set up over just a bit further back up there with a caravan. So she's got, like I said, she's got all sorts of different options for people. But this is a nice little spot. I could quite happily set up camp in this little spot. Keep this one in the memory bank, I think. Yeah, let's keep looking around. Yeah, no, I don't want to walk down that hill, and there's obviously not going to be any flat ground down there. So I'm going to head back to camp and pack up. But it's good to see that one little spot, which will be good. I'll definitely come back here. I think I'll get to know this little property pretty well. yeah, I'm not going to put it in the bag because I'm just going to take it straight out when I get home. So I'm just going to chuck it on the back seat and pack up the tarp. Yeah, well, that's it. All packed up. It takes about 5 minutes. Just love swag camping for that very reason. Like, you don't have to pack your bed up. You don't have to do any of that stuff. You just roll it up, chuck it in the back of the ute, and away you go. Yeah, okay. So, all done for another camp. Hope you enjoyed this little one. It was a little short overnight one. Nice and chilly, but beautiful little spot, as I said. Can't wait to get back out here and check it out a bit further. But yeah, anyway, until next time, stay safe.